Welcome to Money Talks, a weekly feature on FM 93.5 The Berg and WMEG AM 740. Today we will talk just a little bit about money, maybe some of the things you can do with it, how it can impact your life, some ideas on financial planning and investing, and getting the most out of the money you hope to have, already have, or want to pass down. So sit back, relax, listen, and maybe take some notes, as you may have some questions by the time we're done with this edition of Money Talks. Hello, Dan Joss. How are you today?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm well. So what's on your mind today? What are we going to talk about with Money Talks?
Credit cards.
Credit cards?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's hear what you have to say on the topic of credit cards.
Well, I'm looking at a statement I have here, and there's a few notes I'd like to make, just in general, is there's 3 different interest rates.
That seems odd.
Well, this one says you've triggered a penalty APR of 28.99%.
Are you sure you want to tell the public that?
It's on this statement. I'm not saying whose it is.
Oh, okay. That works.
It's not mine.
It's not
yours.
Okay.
So that's interesting because a lot of people just get a bill and just pay it, or it comes through their bank and they pay it. They don't actually look at the statement.
Right.
And that's where the important information is. So this bill has a penalty APR of 28.99%.
Did you say 28%?
28.99.
Oh, well, then it's really 29%,
That's
basically.
right. It's just like the gas station.
Right.
And so the existing balance is now going to be charged at 30%.
Wow.
And then I look at the previous balance was there. The payments don't cover the previous balance, and so they didn't pay off the balance. So
The payments don't apply to the previous balance?
it does, but in this particular statement, the payments aren't enough to cover the previous balance.
Oh.
So they're not paying it off in full.
Right. They're just covering the newest purchases.
Maybe.
Or-
And some of the interest.
So the payments are being applied to the most recent charges, which would have the lower interest rate. And they will eventually whittle away, we hope, at the larger balance, which has the larger interest rate.
That's right.
Okay?
Right. So that's just a warning sign of if you're not paying off the balance, be careful.
Right.
Because you could make compound interest work against you.
That's right.
Then I see another rate that says APR for purchases 16.99% as of the next month. So that means the rate is going to change for a future. And then existing APR is 14.99. So rates are going to go up, except they've triggered a penalty, and so it's very high, essentially double of what the current rate is.
Well, they need to go get one of those credit cards with a 0% balance transfer and just pay it all off with that.
And that's another warning sign.
Oh, okay. Good
So they
thing
made
I'm
the
a radio
payment.
guy and not a financial advisor.
They have another credit, so they may have returned something and got a credit. Then they had additional purchases, which are close to the original balance. So that looks like something that's normal. You know,
Okay.
if the original balance and the new purchases are about the same, that's okay. But the payment again isn't enough to cover that, so they're increasing their balance and the interest on top of that.
And when you say increasing their balance, you mean they're increasing their debt.
They're increasing their debt
Okay.
by borrowing more, buying more things. They have a balance transfer here.
Okay.
So they've moved something from somewhere else to this credit card.
Probably some high interest account.
It can't be much higher than either 14 or 16 or 30.
Right.
Cash advances. They have some cash advances on this card.
And those are probably not at the same rate either.
Those are not at the same rate, but they don't call that interest. They call that a fee. Here it is. Looks like
I'll bet if they called it interest, it would be too high for the usury laws, and they wouldn't be able to do that. So they call it a fee.
$35 fee. That's more than 10%. So yeah, it's going to be a 10% fee, but not interest.
Right.
That's like me borrowing $100 today and owing you $110 next month. That's more than 10% per year, like we talked about earlier.
Right.
That's the fee, not an APR, because the 10% on a month is 120% a year.
That's a bunch.
This is a lot. That's why I don't like credit cards.
Okay. I don't like credit cards that have a balance on them.
Yeah, then here, fees charged and interest charged. And the interest looks small but because it's only a month and it's only on part of the balance. But those will get big.
Yep.
And here's a little note that says, if you make the minimum payment and don't charge any more, you'll pay this off in 10 years.
Wow, 10 years. I bet those movie tickets were really, really worth it.
That's right. So that's my that's just observations of a credit card statement. Take a look at them. Some warning signs if you're not paying it off in full, if you see the interest accumulating, or there's very large rates, then you could be in trouble.
All right. So I would say something to keep in mind is if you don't pay attention, you'll be paying interest.
That's good.
Yeah.
Got to give you credit for that one.
All right. Credit.
That's
Ooh,
right.
There you go. All right. Well,
Tim's nodding his head over here.
thank you for being part of Money Talks today, Dan Joss.
Thank
If somebody
you.
wants to get in touch with you, how should they do that?
Give me a call, 757-903-2127.
Sounds great. Money Talks is a weekly program presented for the listener's benefit and entertainment. It is provided at no cost to the listener, and the ideas, opinions, and comments are not to be construed as legal advice, tax advice, investment advice, or other advice specific to the listener. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of a licensed professional or other qualified party when dealing with financial, legal, tax, medical, investment, insurance, taxidermy, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, real estate, chiropractic, veterinary, oral hygiene, hot air ballooning, etc. We have given you some food for thought. Now, call a licensed professional such as Dan Joss at 757-903-2127. Thanks for listening, and remember, failing to plan is planning to fail.